Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. With me in person is Sree Ratan Sharda ji. He doesn't need an introduction. And it's actually my honor to have you.
Namaste. It's
Namaste.
my honor and pleasure to be at your home. In US, we're always talking distant
Yes.
from India and US.
Yes. Very true. Very true. So viewers, we're going to talk a little bit about the 100th year that of founding of the 𝗪𝗡𝗏 𝗓𝗂𝗍𝗍. And interestingly enough, 100 years ago, another party sort of got founded for India, but it was not founded in India. It was founded outside of India. And we are talking about the Communist Party. From your viewpoint, because you are in this day in and day out, you've been pracharak, I don't know what are the different nuances, but
You're not a pracharak. Pracharak is full-time.
Oh, sorry, you are not a pracharak. See, that shows you how little I know about Assam. But you're
I am what is called 𝗤𝗍𝗍𝗀𝗏𝗏. I run family, I do business, and I also do RSS work.
Wonderful. So let's take a quick look from the perspective that you've grown in an organization that is not something that we have seen from the outside world. Because I want our viewers to understand how these two entities have sort of evolved. Probably the communists saw their peak in the 90s, 30 years ago, because they were in the position of control. Maybe even before that, because they were able to control Indira Gandhi to a certain extent, Jawaharlal Nehru also. But RSS, nobody knew about RSS up until like 15, 20 years ago. Before that, nobody knew. I mean, once in a while something will happen. It was so quietly done. But now if I look back and look at the organization, my God, the put your money where your mouth is. This is an American expression. What it means is that in Hindi, if you want to say, जो मैं कहता हूँ वही करता हूँ, something like that. It's equal to that.
जो मैं नहीं करता वो भी करता हूँ.
I didn't say that, guys. So, your viewpoint about how these two evolved, and certainly RSS is now simple thing. It is the glue that binds Bharat together. Very, very simple. Doesn't matter whether you like them or not, you can hate them, you can abuse them, but that is the glue that is holding us.
That is a very good starting point, because while RSS is the glue that holds Bharat together, the pain for Communist Party, the real ideological opponent of Hindu philosophy is this difference only, that Communists never believed that we are one nation. It believed it's a conglomeration of 18 nations. In fact, Adhikari doctrine, if you know, somewhere in 1943 or 46, he wrote this thesis that India is a conglomeration of 18 nations. And they went to cabinet mission in 1946 saying that they should break India into 18 nations and then give freedom. They want to give freedom. It's an official document. While we say we are culturally, geographically, we are one nation, culturally bound, politically, we may have different kings and queens and all that. But we are one nation culturally, which is very good expression you can see in, for example, Kumbh Mela, now just to put it shortly. So this is the basic difference between the two. Communism came with an ideology borrowed from outside. Their thinking starts from the very concept of nation state, which is just about 200, 300 year old. RSS definition starts from the Hindu Dharmic definition, which says that we as a nation are at least 10,000 years old. There is a wonderful book by Ranga Hariji, RSS ideologue, which book says Bharatiya Rashtrattva ka Ananta Pravaha, that is unending stream of nationalism or unending or perennial growth of the nation of Bharatiya Rashtrattva. So that book starts from Vedic times, how we evolved as a nation with sabhas, with panchayats, with various other entities, and then we kept on moving. So it talks about Mahabharata, how Ramayana, then Mahabharata, and the modern nation. So that is the basic difference. Other is that, as you rightly said, they borrowed the entire philosophy from outside. Say they were always looking at Bharat from outside. We as RSS look Bharat from inside. So naturally it changes, because as people say that your viewpoint changes on your standpoint. So you're standing at Greenwich time and looking at India, then naturally you're looking at it as a Britisher with the construct of Aryan vision theory, Aryan divide. We're looking from inside, let us say Ujjain, the real zero point, zero meridian. We're looking at an entire nation from a scientific, cultural background. So these philosophies, that was evolved over a period of time. So slowly communism lost its moorings. It lost because it tried to engineer itself, very difficult. So till 48 to 51, they were having a rebellion in Andhra Pradesh, armed rebellion. And then it was crushed. They said we'll follow democracy. So they won election in Kerala. So they did try to be part of Bharat, but could never, because culturally they cannot imagine as a nation what we are. So they are anti-religious, they are anti-dharma, their so-called secular definition is not something we understand. 𝗟𝗜𝗡𝗚𝗏 𝗔𝗠𝗡𝗏. So these are the basic differences. Over period, you will see that while RSS grew quietly, as you put it, but working at the grassroots level, while they work more on the ideas level, they work more on the agitational level. So slowly they lost relevance. Politically, they are no more there, hardly relevant. But as ideologically, still they carry very strong mind space through the new left, through the wokeism, which they imported somewhere in 83, courtesy Indira Gandhi, etc. So academically, they still have a very strong base. Media, they have very strong base because of the vestiges of following the British ideas, following the leftist ideas, having global support system, having global web. I call it World Wide Web of left. So they are part of that. So, but other side, on the ground, the way Sangh has worked is quietly, because when we say, I love my nation, so whatever I need to do, I will do. And with 𝗕𝗏𝗏 𝗍𝗏, with selfless dedication, whichever cause I want to work for. So the idea to think above myself, which starts from the RSS 1 hour daily, that is what differentiates the way we have grown over time. We have a constructive approach, they have a destructive approach, in the sense, break to make new one. We say, like Swami Vivekananda said, it is not Kranti, it is Sankranti. So evolution is what we believe in. That's how we differed, and that is how we see the results today.
Wonderful. Moving forward, see, RSS doesn't actually get involved in politics. They have their own, what we want to do. And there are some things where RSS has really succeeded. For example, I'll tell you one thing, that I'm seeing more and more Christians coming on RSS, and they're able to find that comfort zone inside, and they're able to, thrive, and they're able to make that point, and it's very, very good. That inclusive approach is there. You also tried that with the other minority community, with Muslims, with some limited success. One of the things that I really find very interesting with Sangh is, viewers, 1 month ago, before the elections in Delhi, I had one day just read out a small piece of note saying that, according to a reliable source, this is the numbers that I see. So at that time, AAP was looking good. And I said that BJP is going to win 42, and 7 are up for grabs, and the rest, it will be BJP won 6 of those, it got 48. So what I'm saying is that I was so sure that this is going to happen. And once in a while I'll hint that this is my source. And I stand by it. And because I don't want to stick my neck out. What is there? You're the wrong, and you'll say, oh, you got it wrong. I said, I'm reasonably sure this is what is going to happen. So somewhere RSS has figured out the pulse of the nation before it goes to elections. How does that come about?
See, RSS, you can say the biggest network in the world, where you have people on the ground in every village, in every city, in every mohalla, because there are swamsaks everywhere. They are average normal people. So when I talk to a swamsak, I'm talking to a normal citizen. When I go to meet people, I'm talking to a normal citizen. So that is where you get the pulse of the people, that what they think, what they want to, what is their problem, what is their complaints, and what is their grudge. And how, so for example, I look at around when I started writing, for example, for RSS way back around 2000, and my first book was out at somewhere in 2011. So from that time onwards, when we were being ridiculed and we were being, people are thrown out of home saying, kya karna hai? From there on to move to the area where you have people who welcome you. We used to be welcome for any disaster relief. They'll say, we know RSS is very good. Yeah. We will give you money without any doubt at all. So trust was always there. Ideological, we have very little space. But as we go along, we realize the nature of the society is changing. Naturally, that is very obvious. So we have that pulse of the people because we work with the people. We work with every kind of person. We work with opponent also. And I have seen so many opponents change over a period of time as you talk to them. We like Guruji used to say, there are 2 types of Hindus. One who are swamsak, those will become swamsak. So that doesn't allow us the luxury of hating somebody or hitting out somebody. So that is how we know. So naturally, when you pass on the feedback to the people who are in the electoral mode, if they take the feedback very honestly and bravely, they will get the right results.
Did you get a sense of what was going to happen in the 2024 Lok Sabha elections?
I would say no. I was also clouded, but I had doubts. I would say that how does it figure out? That was my doubt. See, to create a hyper marketing slogan is good, and that is required for politics. So my view was that is 𝗣𝗡𝗙𝗏 𝗟𝗡 par was a kind of call to opposition, to overawe them. But unfortunately, that 400 became the mantra for the cadre of the BJP. They सब बढ़िया है, Modi ji will win, 400 तो आ ही जाएगा, वोटर सेट 400 तो आ ही जाएगा, वोट देने की जरूरत नहीं है. Yeah, and there's so many things. I'll not get into all that. But point is that I'm always a bit of a conservative on the seats and all. So I thought, okay, majority will be there and will 300 plus. I also felt that very surely because of the work that Modi ji has done. But as the election moved, we saw that cadre got a bit comfortable with the figures and things what you saw has happened. And biggest reason was they could not capture the negative campaigning by Congress and take action, believing everything is fine. Why to worry? The typical attitude. So they knew negative fake news is spread in UP, in Rajasthan, but they did not take corrective measures immediately. That is what hurt them, I would say. And you see the result. But otherwise, BJP was saved because there is huge goodwill, as you can see everywhere. As soon as they changed their stance of working, you saw the result in Haryana, Maharashtra. So definitely people, those lives have changed. People understand. And maybe 10 years is too long a period and the entire generation has gone. Maybe the new generation also needs to be reminded that what they have seen is something that we never thought we will have in our lifetime. So that particular generation has to be addressed. If they address that generation, the young generation, I'm sure BJP is never going to lose.
Thank you so much. And I wish RSS another 1,000 years. Because
what also, if you look at what RSS has done, is that it has created some very fundamental changes. I will just give one example because people don't really appreciate that. People don't know that. This entire game of RNA invasion theory, which depended on Saraswati River, which they thought was mythical, that was broken by RSS people.
Yes.
Itihas Sankalan Samiti, we had 𝗤𝗏𝗏𝗏, very great archaeologist, and with him 𝗤𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. You will be surprised to know 𝗤𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 at that advanced age walked all the path across Saraswati. Because 𝗤𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 had done a complete satellite imagery. So he said, I'll walk. So right from the source to the end, wherever he could, Bharat, he could walk, he personally walked with 𝗤𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. So that how Saraswati stays. That is the beginning of the end of RNA invasion theory. Then you see the sites, new sites coming up, hundreds of sites. I'll just give one example because people believe RSS is only the 𝗤𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 working, the relief people, running around Shaka and all that. Dimag nahi hai. So that's why I give just one intellectual example which actually changed the course of history.
You brought me to the last question for this particular hangout. See, I just recently toured Cambodia. Kambuja should be correct. So Kambuja, it's part Hindu, part Buddhist, even though the religion is Theravada Buddhism. Theravada Buddhism is a very simplified form of Buddhism, so people don't even go to temple. So there are no Buddhist priests anymore. The place looks like it is screaming for, I need that spiritual guidance. Very simple people, very poor. And what really struck me was, here is something that RSS can do. I couldn't think of anybody else who could step up to the plate and say, I'm going to make this place spiritual. That's the feeling I got. I'm getting a little emotional because what a great dharma we have. And so many states, so many countries, they're all supposed to be Hindu.
True. In fact, another thing that we must appreciate, Vishnu Hindu Parishad is the platform which has brought together all the sampradayas, all the different shades of religions of Bharatiya root into the mainstream, bringing them together on a platform which nobody actually could imagine. In fact, the first Prayag was the first where the first meeting was held, and there were representatives more than 100 sampradayas, every kind of, right from Sikh, Jain, Bauddha to various shades of Bauddha, and every kind of sect and sampradaya on one platform, where they declared that no Hindu can be fallen and every Hindu is son of the same mother, so they are brothers. This was passed, including Shukracharya, who are hardcore, believers in Varnashram and all. So they also had to be persuaded. They persuaded and agreed. So this is a platform which goes across the world, and there are people who are working on the revival of these issues. But basically, at that level, you need government to be positively dharmic. So when Bangladesh or Indonesia, when the government has a sense of history, a sense of culture, or oneness of culture across all these areas, and when you actually appreciate what Cholas did, people don't even know about Cholas, for example. So this is where this kind of government that Modi ji is or BJP is will create what you believe, Then RSS and other people can help in the sense providing people, expertise. We have expertise. In fact, when you talk of Cambodia, you have found one temple which is being restored by ASI.
Yeah.
So we don't believe ASI can really, restore.
I went there.
We can't restore properly, but they're working hard there. So I think as the government changes and we are no more apologetic of being Hindu or being, the Indic Sanskriti, whatever word you want to use, or Bharatiya, that particular Indic or Hindu spread, which includes all the subsects or religions born out of Vedic Sanskriti. So this will also change. I think what you say is right, but that needed this kind of government which will be very happily ready to help these nations which are basically from the same dharmic.
Thank you so much, sir. And here is wishing another 1,000 years for our Sree 𝗠𝗎𝗍𝗍.
No, but there is a difference there because Sangha doesn't believe we want to last for 1,000 years.
No.
They said as the society becomes dharmic, as we really become a Hindu society and follow Hindu principles, so RSS, there is no need for RSS. That's what RSS truly believes. So hope it doesn't take 1,000 years.
It's like 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗪, It's not like you're going to, one yuga is not what you're going to live. Live a long life. So thank you so much, sir.
Thanks, Kala. Thanks.
Thank you.